Welcome once again. In this video, I'll be talking about the importance of HR metrics. HR metrics is the locus of HR analytics, and many times practitioners and experts fail to emphasize upon the need of HR metrics, and then they jump onto the analytics, wherein they go into the predictive and prescriptive analytics without knowing what kind of metrics have they created and how have they integrated these metrics with the overall organizational performance. So to begin the topic, I would just like to you guys to think about a few questions. For example, you should always think about what is it that the HR function is currently doing. So people come up with various answers and various responses to these questions. And the most common answers that I come across is the HR is responsible for compliance to processes and making a lot of transactional reporting. By transactional reporting, I mean the reporting that they make on payroll on daily and monthly basis. The second question that we should answer or we should ask ourselves is that what are the activities that HR function should do. Now in this, people go little more strategic and they give a lot of management jargons like talent management, leadership pipeline, work-life balance, and many more things. But if I consolidate all the responses, I will largely say that people have an opinion that HR function should drive the organizational strategy rather than merely implementing it. And the second important thing HR function should do is to measure its contribution. In order to be a business partner, you need to measure the contribution that you are making. So if you have the expectations of driving the strategy and measuring the contribution, we should know how should we measure that. Now, this is the question that is the most important question of the session. Whether we should measure the outcomes or the output. Output is something that can be easily measured, that can be easily seen on the surface. But output to me is an action or an item which leads to the outcome. And people believe output is everything. So we need to differentiate between the two and we should emphasize upon outcome rather than the output. Now, let me explain this with one example. Now, I want you guys to just think that you are an HR manager and you have a task to reduce the cost to hire by possibly 20%. Now, in order to do this, you will use some of the measurements. And the most common thing that HR executives or manager do is that's what obvious is that go in calculating the cost per hire. Cost per hire is the total of direct cost and in that indirect cost, and then they try to minimize that cost. But if you look at this problem in more detail, what does the company expect? The company not only expects you to reduce the cost, but it expects you to think beyond. Think beyond means you should look at the time to hire. If you can reduce the time or optimize the time to hire, that can also contribute substantially. Or if you can maybe increase the offer acceptance rate, which is called as renege rate, then again you can contribute tremendously. But you need to think that what exactly is the output and what is the outcome. And then you may also think about the performance of the selected employees over a period of time, that you have hired the people in less cost but their performance is not up to the mark. And towards the end, companies may also worry about thinking the career path ratio, that how many people got promoted, how many people are contributing and are being retained by the organization for a longer period of time. So if you look at the surface, it looks cost per hire, which is the ultimate output. But if you look at the outcome that the company may have in mind is the companies may look for a higher career path ratio or maybe a higher level of performance by the selected employees or maybe a greater tonnage rate. So you need to integrate things and then align it with the overall organizational outcomes. correct? Now, there are ways to measure the activities. According to Jack Fitzen, there are 5 ways to measure entire activity inside a business. And these are cost, time, quantity, quality, and human reaction. Now, human reaction is something which is subjective, correct? And then quality is also likely to be subjective, although there are measures and indicators to do that. But then there are some qualitative and quantitative. And this is where the problem lies in. Output is largely quantitative, whereas outcome can be qualitative as well. So, what does a metric do? A metric tries to convert the the qualitative measures into quantitative. So, for example, the same problem, if I have to measure the human reaction, so I need to find out ways. Maybe I need to measure the satisfaction level, maybe I need to measure their behavior or their attitude or their opinion, or maybe I need to look at the content or their sentiments. So I have to find out the metrics which is capable of measuring the reaction, and it also conveys a meaning in that given context. Correct. So a metric may depend upon the context. It is not the uniform. You cannot say that a metric which has worked for company A will also work for company B. But yes, metric will definitely facilitate in quantifying the outcome, whether it is career path ratio or whether it is the word of mouth or reaction of the employees or the stakeholders. So you need to quantify that and measure that, and then it has to convey a meaning. Now, for example, employee wellness. Employee wellness could have been a metric which is of least importance to companies few years back. But if you look at the current pandemic scenario, employee wellness or emotional wellness or mental wellness is the number one metric for the HR. Or for that matter, absenteeism was one of the important metric in the past. But as of now, it is work from home. So even organizations are not bothered about the attendance. So they are just paying you salaries, but you have to exhibit some other metrics. Correct. So the metrics may change with respect to the time and the conditions and the context. Despite knowing what is HR metrics, we still need to convince ourselves and the management on why should we create HR metrics. And the most important or most common reason is the principle of what gets measured gets done. So it is important, therefore, to measure the right thing so that they gets done and the performance become optimized. The other reason is that the cost per employee is going up. If you look at 30-40 years back, probably the companies were spending 15 to 20% of their total cost in the salaries. But now, due to the IT or service industry and consulting companies, we have some companies which are spending as big as 70% of their total expenditure on employees' salary. And third thing which is important is we need to convert data into business intelligence. Now, the metric will become the basis for all forms of analysis because we need to identify the trends, we need to identify the patterns, we need to identify or do the forecasting and then the prediction. So, in order to convert the data into business intelligence, we need to have the right kind of metrics. Now, there are some authors which have given the critical HR metrics. For example, Jack Fitzen again, he has said that there are 5 important HR metrics, and these are critical employee turnover, cost of labor, amount of money spent on learning and development, effect of engagement on productivity, and view of leadership by employees. Yes, possibly these are the 5 metrics which were important in that era when he gave these measures. But they may not fit in the current context or for each kind of company. So it is important for every organization to identify, rather every department to identify what are the most critical or crucial measures for them. Now, what is important? The important is not only to create or articulate these metrics. It is more important is to associate these metrics into different categories and then link it to the organization's overall performance. Now, there are some authors which have divided these metrics into different forms. Some authors call it as lead measures, some call it as lag measures, some call it as efficiency versus effectiveness, some say process, and some say outcome. So you may have different variety, different forms. Again, this is not important. Important is what makes sense in the given context. And the second thing which is important is we should measure more the outcome, less the process or the output. Now, this slide talks about how should the HR department or function connect these levels of metrics. Now, here is the entire integrative thinking. So, for example, if you have created a department level metric of employee engagement survey score or leadership survey score, so these scores are nothing but an indicator of good or bad engagement or leadership inside the organization. But then these indicators or these metrics should contribute to the operational level metric. Operational level metric may have the indicators like training and development cost. For example, if your engagement score is very high, but still you are making a very high training and development investment. So that means there is something which is wrong in the integration or in the alignment. Or if your leadership service score is very high and you are still making high expenses per employee, you need to find out the rationality behind that. Correct? Similarly, you need to think about the metrics which are at the strategic or organizational level. For example, total management or total employment cost or revenue per employee. So all these three levels should have an integration. There has to be a cascading effect. So if my department level metrics are improving, my operational level metrics should also improve, and my strategic level metrics should also improve. Correct. So this is where the logic and the integrated thinking plays an important role. Common mistakes that again people make in creating metric and then using them. The most important thing is you should not confuse data with information. Organizations may have piles and piles of data, but whether that data is exhibiting some information, whether you can improve your quality of decisions with that data. So we need to actually convert that data into usefulness, and the usefulness will tell whether it is information or not. Correct? You may have demographic data, but will that be useful in implementing a policy? If yes, then it becomes information. Similarly, I've explained many times that you should not emphasize upon measuring the activity, rather the effect or the impact of that. Most of the energy or most of the effort goes in measuring the activity. So we should not confuse ourselves with what is the activity or the outcome of the activity. We should rather look at the outcome or the impact. Third common mistake is that managers at time just show these numbers, but you need to create a story around it. You need to tell why this number or why this metric is important and what is going to be the future usefulness of it. So until you link the backward and forward integration to that, that becomes incomplete. So you should tell a story based upon the number, based upon the metrics, based upon the data and information in order to have an impact on the organization. Thank you so much.